Chapter 24, Part 2. This is the chapter on Father Feodorit, and Vladimir is saying to Anastasia, "Now you're interrogating me. You recounted everything so accurately." This is about his meeting with Father Feodorit. "Everything that happened to me 26 years ago. You tell me how I felt back then." That is not possible. Father Feodorit did not formulate any specific plans. He was hoping for something intuitively, but he did do something great and significant for you, something known only to him. I can only feel it intuitively myself. He thought up something significant and did a lot towards this end, a great deal, in fact. But why he associated his desire with you who did not have the basic abilities to come quickly into the faith, this remains a mystery. And why he has not broken this faith even after 25 years of your profligate life, that too is a mystery. And why are you, who have received so much, still sitting on your hands? Why? I cannot understand that. After all, nothing in the universe ever disappears without a trace. Please see if you can remember even isolated scenes from your meetings and conversations with your spiritual father. Quote, I remember a salon, or perhaps it was some sort of treasury room in the academy or seminary, or maybe it was one of the underground rooms in the monastery itself. Some kind of monk opened the door for Father Feodorit, but didn't go in himself. The father and I went in alone. There were some pictures on the walls and things standing on little shelves. Quote, you experienced 2 surprises there. What were they? Quote, surprises. Yes, of course, it did surprise me, astounded me. What did? A particular picture. It was black and white, as if drawn with a pencil. It was a meticulously executed portrait of some person. So what surprised you about it? I don't remember. Think, Vladimir. Please try to recall it. I shall help you. There was a small salon. You were standing alone there with Father Feodorit in front of this picture. You were standing just a little way in front of him, and he told you, step a little closer to the picture, Vladimir. You took 1 step forward, then another. Quote, I remember, Anastasia. Quote, what? This picture of a person was drawn with a single line, a fluctuating spiral line. It was as though the artist had put his pencil, or whatever, in the middle of a blank sheet of paper, and without taking it off the paper, had made it go in a spiral, alternatively pressing hard on it to make the line thicker and easing up, barely touching the paper to make a fine, delicate line, but still continuous. The spiral line ended at one edge of the page. The result was an amazing picture, the portrait of a person. This picture, Anastasia advised, should be put on public display for all to see. Someone will be able to decipher the information concealed in it. That pulsating line portraying a person has something to say to people. How? I do not know yet. You are aware, for example, how dots and dashes can represent an alphabet or a musical notation. I can only guess it could be one or the other of those, or something else besides. When you return, ask them to put it on public display or to publish it somewhere. Someone will turn up who is able to decipher that spiral line. But who will listen to me? They will listen to you. But back then, you experienced a second most unusual feeling. Can you recall what it was? Quote, it was in the same room or in the next room. Yes, it was a rather small room where a beautiful carved wooden chair was standing on a raised platform. Perhaps it was an armchair, something like a throne. Father Feodorit and I stood and looked at it. The father said that nobody ever touched it. Quote, but you touched it and even sat on it. Quote, it was Father Feodorit himself who suggested I sit on it. Quote, and what happened to you when you did? Quote, nothing. I sat there looking at Father Feodorit, and he stood there silently looking at me in the eye. Just looked, that's all. Quote, please remember, Vladimir, try to recall your inner feelings. They are very important. Quote, well, there was nothing special. It was just that, some thoughts began running through my head, lickety-split, like an audio tape in fast forward mode, and the words all blurred into a stream of unintelligible sounds. Quote, and you never tried deciphering them, Vladimir? Did you ever have the desire to stop that tape so you could listen to it at normal speed and understand what it was saying? Quote, how could I? Quote, by pondering the essence of your being. Quote, no, I never tried that. You're not making any sense, Anastasia. Quote, and the things that Father Feodorit told you, did you understand everything? Can you recall precisely even a single phrase, even a phrase without any connection to the rest? Quote, yes, but I can't really remember what it was connected to. Quote, tell me what it was. Quote, you will show them. At this point, Anastasia, who had been sitting under the tree, suddenly sprang up, her face beaming. She put her hands on the trunk of the cedar and pressed her cheek against it. Quote, yes, of course, she exclaimed, waving her arms with joy and delightedly crying out, quote, you are truly great, monk of Russia. You know, Vladimir, there's one thing I can tell you for certain about Father Feodorit. He has made a mockery of a lot of the world's teachings by showing what is the most essential thing.